almost as quickly as it began, the most unexpected and unforgettable of MotoGP World Championship seasons, it's ready to get the winter warmers on and look ahead to what will no doubt be another cracker in 2021. Joan Mir has had barely any time to get the champagne out of his leathers following his coronation as a 2020 MotoGP World Champion in Valencia, but that doesn't mean his job is quite done yet, as Suzuki strikes for a triple crown. Then there is a small matter of the hotly contested runners-up spot, and we get to do it all at a brand new venue in Portimao, just to lob in another well-timed curveball to wrap things up. The sun may be setting on the 2020 MotoGP World Championship season, but there is still all to play for. Here is our Portuguese MotoGP preview. A firm favourite among those fortunate enough to have laid down some rubber at the Portimao circuit in Portugal's Algarve, given it was created specifically for bikes and has hosted World Superbikes since 2008, it's perhaps surprising that now, 12 years later, it has finally worked its way onto the MotoGP schedule. For now, it's just a wildcard race, belatedly tacked on to the end of the 2020 season to swell it out a bit, before it returns to reserve status for 2021. Even so, there has been much anticipation about this race, even before it was announced, and while it is largely a step into the unknown for most, there is still much to get excited about. So what can the riders expect? Well, with crests and troughs, fast sweeping bends and some quite tricky bumps, plus even a jump of sorts, Portimao received a big thumbs up from those who tested on superbike machinery last month, even if there was some trepidation about how a full-fat MotoGP bike would handle there. Using World Superbikes as a benchmark, we can expect the Yamaha to enjoy the sweeping mid-portion of the track, before the Ducati and perhaps the Honda relishes the downhill right-hander into the long final straight, while the anticipated high levels of abrasion should also suit Suzuki nicely. In short, it could be anyone's, but you could say that about pretty much every single race this year. At the very least, Miguel Oliveira will appreciate getting a chance to perform at home, even if there won't be any fans, while he's the one rider who knows the circuit like the back of his hand. If you thought Joan Mir's title win was unlikely, fewer still would have predicted Suzuki to be in a position to wrap up all three championships, that's the riders, teams and manufacturers, by the final round. With Mir and Alex Rins sitting first and third in the standings, it's no surprise to see that Team Suzuki X-Star pick up the team's title well in advance of the finale, but the pressure is on for the firm to wrap up the manufacturer's crown. A measure of the up-and-down nature of this year's title race, the two leading protagonists are perhaps not what you would expect, with Suzuki and Ducati tied on points ahead of this one. This is despite the teams sharing only 2 wins apiece this year, compared with Yamaha on 7, which rather succinctly explains the plot thread of its slightly bipolar season. The Japanese firm isn't out of the running yet though, 13 points behind Suzuki and Ducati out front, but it's certainly on the back foot. Back to Suzuki and Ducati though, you would have to say Suzuki have perhaps deserved it more, since it has persevered with just 2 bikes, unlike Ducati which can count on an armada of 6 Desmos by comparison. It's not the ultimate crown, but there is still plenty to get excited about, with the pending fight to secure the runners-up spot in the standings behind Mir, simply because there are still so many in with a shout. A change of hierarchy in recent rounds serves to alter the dynamic of the fight too, with a third MotoGP win of the season for Morbidelli in Valencia, meaning he now has the target drawn onto his back and 5 other riders gunning for him. Form has certainly been with the Italian recently, and second overall would be richly deserved, not least because he has done so from a rearward trajectory before flourishing late on, and so much so that he stands to take his B/A-spec Yamaha ahead of both Maverick Vinales and, perhaps more satisfyingly, the out-of-form Fabio Quartararo. He faces competition from Rins, who's just 4 points behind, who will bid to make it a proper clean sweep for Suzuki by making it a 1-2 lockout behind Mir. Though it seems a while since we've seen Vinales really fighting at the sharp end, he is still in line to end the year with a decent final position, but he is now 15 points shy of his stablemate. Quartararo, meanwhile, he might just hope to have a trouble-free race to raise a smile in what has been a dismal run of results for the erstwhile title favourite. With the lure of comfy shoes and a sofa awaiting him from Monday as he settles into his sabbatical, Andrea Dovizioso will want to end things on a high too. But they could all find themselves under threat from Pol Espargaro, who could sign off his tenure at KTM in a fitting way possible before swapping to a new shade of orange for Repsol Honda. With a trio of top 4 results on the bounce coming into Portugal, though he is 20 points off second, he is only 5 points from 4th.